Salve te discipuli, this is Help for Your Latin Studies in Henle First Year Latin, exercise number 200. In this exercise, we are going to be looking at some verbs. And what does it tell us? Translate the active form given and then change the active form to the corresponding passive form. Okay, so we are just stepping into these waters of passive verbs, right? Passive voice with our verbs. So far, last exercise, which was the first exercise in Unit 5 and Lesson 17, introducing that idea of passive-active, we learned that if the subject is doing the action, it is active. If the subject is receiving the action, it is passive. Now, the next question is, how do we make a Latin verb passive? Okay, now we can tell the difference between what they would be in English, but how do we make a Latin verb passive? And the answer is given here on page 180 in your purple book. You're going to change the ending just slightly of each verb. And you have to just memorize these passive endings. And here's what it sounds like. Orister merminienter. Okay, I told my students that they can just act like the Swedish chef and chant that over and over, like, Orister merminienter, because he always sounded like that. And they looked at me like I had 7 heads. If you've never seen a video of the Swedish chef, look him up and you'll know exactly what I mean. But Orister merminienter is what you need to memorize in order to know how to change a verb from the active to the passive. Okay, and I'm going to flip the page here now. It gives us some examples. For example, laudo, which is our model verb of the first conjugation, meaning I am praising, or I praise, or I do praise, right? But in this case, the example is showing us that it means I am praising. And when we change that O with the macron, with the passive ending OR, now it becomes I am being praised. Okay, and that illustrates for us that laudo is in the active voice. The subject is doing the action. I am praising. Laudor, I am being praised, is in the passive voice. The subject is receiving the action. Okay, so that's how it would be translated differently. Now, exercise 200 gives us a list of verbs, all in the present. Oh, no, not all in the present tense. I take that back. But what we need to do is we need to look at the verb, translate it, and then change it from the active form to its corresponding passive form. We don't even have to translate the passive form. We just have to say what it would be. But in your head, it might be a good exercise to go ahead and think, what would that be in the passive form? So, woko means I am calling, and the passive form would become, I'm just going to put an arrow to say, point to becoming, would become wokor, which would mean, I don't have to write this down, but I'm going to think it, which would mean I am being called. Okay. So then that was number 1. Let's do another one. Number 3, because this adds a different type of ending. Audie bam. Audie, I want to get this right. Bam. Well, remember, bam, ba, spot, bam, spot, spont. Those are your imperfect endings. And imperfect tense is sort of a past ongoing action. So I was hearing. My pen seems to be wanting to run out of ink. Becomes. Okay, I'm going to look back because this is new to me. It's still the first person singular, bam. And so I'm going to change, I believe, that M to an R. Let's look at our model here. Or our example. Lauda bam becomes lauda bar. Yep. So that would become, Audi a bomb would become Audi a bar. All right, let's do one more and see if we've got it. Let's do a future tense one. So Monet-bo, number 6. Monet-bo. Okay, that means worn. Let's see, it's future tense. I will warn. Bo, bis, bit, bimis, bitis, bunt. Those are your future tense endings. So I will warn. And Monet-bo in the passive voice means, or would be translated as, or would become, I should say, O becomes or. So Monet-bor. Okay, and that would mean, I didn't talk about this one, that would mean future, let's see, I will be warned. Okay, subject's receiving the action. In the imperfect tense, it says, I was hearing Audi a bar. I was being heard. That's what I look at our examples. That's what I see. I was being heard. Okay, so that's what the exercise 200 is about. It's about knowing how to change a verb from the active voice to the passive voice and how that changes its meaning. I hope that this has been helpful to you. Have a great day.